Good day, peace, love, and light to you all, family. Welcome to another YouTube video. Yo, guys, today, I've got the flu, so my voice is a little bit somehow, yeah. So I'm recording this from bed, from bed, as if it's a location. Yeah, so I'm just chilling at home today, and one of my friends suggested a topic that I was actually thinking about making a video a while back, and I was like, oh, that's affirmation. So he's like, yo, bro, you should make a video about thoughts, bro. Like, I'd love to hear your perspective on like thoughts. I was like, hey, man, I had that thought, but then that thought left my mind. But like, that's something that I wanted to make a video about. So that's what this video is going to be about. So don't forget to like and to subscribe to the channel so that you may get more videos in future. So now, on to the topic of menagano, imicabango, thoughts. What are thoughts? What is a thought? To put it simply, the thought is the word made flesh. So everything that is manifest is basically a word or a thought. The thought, which starts at the head, moves down to the throat, you speak it out, you densify it. It's the word now. It's the spoken word. So from thoughts to words. So the thought is the word made flesh. The word made flesh, the testament of the body, the testimony, giving testament to the existence of yourself and others around you as reflections, but affirming the fact that, hey, we exist. So it's the testament, the body, God testifying. It's the witness, God witnessing itself. I say that Jesus had two witnesses next to him. Those are the two polarities of viewing the world. There's two sides of thought. You think in two hemispheres of the brain. You think in the right brain, which is intuitive and imaginative, and you think within the left brain, which is logical, masculine, scientific. So you can have thoughts from either side. The two hemispheres of the body. So the body of the two hemispheres of the mind, which control the two sides of the body. The right side, for majority of the population being active, they are more right-handed people. You know, this is the side that's active. It's the masculine, and then this side is the feminine. So the whole body is a layout of the mind in flesh. So it's the word. We said that a thought is what? It's a word. So the word made flesh. The Bible, the Testament, the Quran, where they speak about who? Allah. Allah is arm, leg, arm, head. Allah, a God, generator, operator, destroyer. Aspects of the same thing. So the mind now, in this world, after the eating of the tree of good and evil, you gained the ability to think in two sides, whereas you would only think in one side. So you didn't have the knowledge of the God because you hadn't eaten from one tree. So the moment you ate off the tree of good and evil, you were able to perceive duality. Hence now, with that realization of self, of God, comes in the gifts of the spiritual manifesting itself within the physical. So now comes things like discernment, the ability to discern, because now you see duality. You are able to see from both sides. So thoughts are words made flesh, but now this is where it gets deep. You are an eternal being. So in your essence, you yourself are the thought. So you are a thought form. You are a thought form made flesh, and you think other thoughts. Just like how you could have a dream within a dream. You are a thought that has thoughts. And those thoughts become entities, living entities. Like habits, those are thought forms. When you do something habitually over a period of time, that habit catches you because now it's a thought form. It can think you now. It can make you do the thing that you thought it for, even when you don't want to do that thing anymore. So you create thought forms with where you focus your attention on. So where you focus your attention on, that becomes a thought form. So you are the focused attention of the mind of God, focusing itself into a physical form. So an aspect of God's mind is 100% committed to projecting only this version of who you are. So it's an intensified thought form. So it's a monad, what they call a monad, that would divide itself further and further into more and more split pieces of itself, but it's a monad at the top. So this is where lineages happen on a soul level, soulmates, twin flames, your ancestors, guides, family, in the sense that how you connect to everybody. It's people who you share a monad with. At the top, it could be 2 levels up. Some people you share even the soul from 3 levels up because it's one. And then that one divides into 2. Those 2 divide into further numbers, and so on and so on. So you could share, this is where it comes with the relationship, share a level where it's the monad, the individual, and the 2 that it splits. So the first 2 that split from the highest monad could be you and your spouse, your divine other, who you will always incarnate, whether in the same lifetime or not same lifetime, but you will always cross paths because you all came from the highest of highest, the first splitting of the androgen. So now you focus yourself, or the mind of God focused itself into the 2 monads. They split, they have their own relationship, and then now the levels that they split also develop a relationship until you get to the lowest worlds, which is where Jesus and the Buddhas and all of them ascend. They come here to redeem, because now the further this monad splits itself, it begins to forget itself more and more and more and more. So when it finally gets to the level of ultimate duality, where there's so many of us thinking we're divided, not knowing that we come from the one, the messengers now come to pull us back and remind us that we are thought forms. Hence they tell us that, hey, in the beginning was the word. So in the beginning was you. You are the word made flesh now. You are the thought. You are a thought in God's mind made flesh. This is all an idea. You are an idea in the mind of an intelligent being that's not even a being. It is simply the all. They just call it the all across the world. You can't even say it's God, because when you say God, you're trying to give it a name. So it's the all. It's every, you can't define it. You can't define it. You can't put it in a box of theology or mathematics, philosophy. You can't quantify it. You can't try to box something you can't even quantify. So you just let it be. And then you deal with aspects of itself that are much more divided, because the more divided it becomes, the easier it is to study it. That's what we are here. We are God studying itself. We are God looking at itself. We are God witnessing itself. This is the witness of God. It's the thought, the word made flesh. It's Jesus. It's the genius. It's G. It's us. It's the heart. Jesus, when you look at pictures, he's always pointing to the heart chakra. You have to when you open the heart, you can connect to everything and anything and everyone. So you become more than yourself. everything becomes you, an extended version of you. So now you are the thought form made flesh that creates its own thought forms. That's the gift of God. That's the gift that God has given you. It's thinking itself. So you are becoming what you have always imagined God to be. You are becoming what you will become. This is where the planets come in. They represent different states of yourself because they are gods. But God's you, mankind, has always been. The gods are powerful. The gods can do things that we can't even begin to imagine. But the gods, what humanity has over them is that the gods only exist in our imagination. We make them stronger. That's why whenever you watch movies like God of War or all these movies, which one is that one with Liam Neeson? Clash of the Titans. The gods always are saying mankind, even in the series Gods of America, they're saying that the humans are no longer praying to us. So now they don't get power. So what do? They send famine. They create all these things so that humanity gets scared to do what? To pray to them. Because when you are not praying to them, you are not giving them your attention like that. You know them to be projections of your mind. As powerful as they are, they need you to put that energy in there, your thought. Because don't forget, you are a thought form in the mind of God. So what you think can manifest. As a man thinketh, so is he. The Bible is the science of being. It's the science of explaining how you are. How many people do you think? You remember those questions you used to think when you were a kid? People grew up and gained levels to be able to even answer those questions. Like, how did this all begin? If God came here, that's what all Kabbalah, that's what all this knowledge, that's what everything is. It's an explanation, a witnessing of God, witnessing itself. Like, gee, I really exist, and I created this from a monadic level. And that singular monad comes even from a further place beyond the Ein Sof, O, and the Ein. It's beyond the triple darkness of space, they call it. It's beyond the waters of noon. It's beyond the sky. It's beyond the stellar. It's realms of being, which is where we come from. But then we densified. This body is a densified form of light. Light is intelligence. Light is thought. Thoughts are light. You are a light being and you project light from within your mind. So you are also who you are, Thor or Thoth, Tehuti, Hermes, Thoth, the thrice greatest, Hermes Trismegistus, Thought, the consort to Ma'at, the one whose heart they balance you against. Now that's the feminine side of it. Ma'at, they balance your heart against the feather of Ma'at, balanced by who? By Anubis. He balances you next to the feather. The feather is represented by Thor or Thoth. Thoth. Now the feather is the feather of the ibis, the bird. It has got like a beak because he's also the scribe. He's the one who writes down. He's the messenger. So he writes down the thoughts. The thoughts are messages. Literally, the Messiah. The Messiah is a messenger. The Messiahs are messengers to remind you of the unity that you once forgot. When you ate off the tree, when you began in duality, the first splitting of the monad, that's a realm that you existed in for countless time you can't even begin to imagine. But there came a point where you split even further than that. And then even further than that, these are the realms of existence where different thought forms exist. So another thing that a thought is, besides it being Ma'at, which they, Tehuti, the scribe, the thoughts, the things that you write down, when they measure your heart, checking, okay, this person, he's still attached to this place, so you come back. Or if your heart is lighter, it means that your desires, you've overcome them. It's not something that could be heavier, so it means your thoughts were light. So thoughts, in another aspect that they exist, is they exist as what they call your chakra points, which are points or wheels that you can tune into via your vibrational state. So how you are feeling, uthabile, ukwatile, dintsanye, what's going on? What state is this? What state are you tapped into? Do you know your history? What are you eating? Are you alkaline? Are you acidic? All these particular states are on this ladder, which is your body, this upward, erect, upward pointing to the heaven structure that you call your body. Your chakra points are the thought receivers and thought projectors as well. So now where you are tuned into the chakras via where you are vibrating is the level of thought you will be able to pick up. So you have your root chakra, your sacral chakra, solar plexus, your heart, throat chakra, your third eye, and your crown chakra. So, this one, what they call the Ajna chakra as well. Muldrada, the root chakra. So across different cultures, they call them different names, but the function they know. In Sanskrit, the word chakra means a spinning wheel. So now when these chakras spin, they pull in thoughts of a certain type, of a certain kind of way of being. So now you pull in these thoughts via where you are vibrating, and then you are able to log in. So your alkalinity will determine these factors. Can't just boom walk into, this is where spiritual discipline will come in. What you eating? Do you get enough sunlight? Do you sun gaze? Do you pray? Do you give out, you pour libations out to your ancestors? Depending, do you pray to God? Wherever you are vibrating at, it's one God. They say that we have different gifts, but the one who distributes all these gifts is the same spirit. So the same spirit in me is the same spirit in you. Everything that is within me is also existing within you, because at the end of it all, we are all part of the one monad that could have split itself into multiple monads, and then creating these levels of, you could also understand them as levels of angels, archangels, guardian angels, different levels, different stairs. Then you'll get your personal, you get your angels that govern cultures, that govern humanity, that govern cycles of time. So you could call on different ones angels of war, angels of protection, messenger angels. So all these are thought forms also. Angels are thought forms. But you are the most now powerful thought form, in the sense that you have been truly densified and highly concentrated upon. That's why you're dense. That's why your body is dense. God has thought of you so much that you've become densified. And that happened through the splitting, through you cutting the cord. The experiment, the experiment of duality. Duality had to be. This is the task that they speak about when they say that I foreknew you for this purpose, or before this purpose, I chose you. I was like, this being this being can fulfill this task. So it's like God gave you an assignment, or you and God worked on something on a big plan, and then this is your part of the plan. Co-creators, like this being, because actually, those type, boom, 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 everything clicks. You start tripping on a plan worth trillions of years into making stars, planets, and now life living on those things. So a plan, so it would blow your mind. This is a whole other conversation on its own. It's a different type of plan if you knew what it is that we are doing here, because we are creating. So now, this plan has been thought of for so long that it's become dense. When they speak about the fallen, who do you think they are talking about? When they speak about the fallen, who do you think they are talking about? You should watch Transformers, the second one. I've watched that movie so many times, where Sam goes to Egypt, where Optimus Prime, I hope I'm still recording. Let me just check. I am. Where Optimus Prime was in Egypt and they were recovering his body through the matrix of leadership. So there's this fallen one who changed side. He was like, "What planet am I on?" When they awakened him, and then he's like, "He's on Earth." Hey, I think I heard it stop. Okay, no, I was paranoid. I don't want to split all this nice information and then to find out that it wasn't recording. So he's like, "What planet am I on?" They're like, "Earth." He's like, "Earth?" First, he was like, terrible name for a planet. Might as well call it dirt. Planet dirt. That part killed me. So now, in finding out, he's like, who's winning the war? They're like, "What war?" And then he's like, the war. And then he's like, they tell him about the Decepticons and the Autobots. And then he's like, he switched sides. That's when they found out that they could switch sides. But the reason or the point to all of that is, look at where they were. They were in Africa. They were in Egypt. The pyramids. They hit all of that. You saw when they opened the pyramids, and then they were pointing at the sun, which is Ra, because literally the pyramids are aligned to star constellations up there. The three kings, when they were going to the three kings, they align with the pyramids, which is what the ancient people studied, the ancient black people. So that's the beauty again of the black, to be a black one, because you are these thoughts, this which we're all talking about, the things that we can do, the things that we know about nature, animals, God, healing, fire, water. Like, there's nothing that we don't know. How to hunt, how to live in tribes, how to live in cities. We're the omnipresent one. If you were to look at who God would be in flesh, it would be the black one. It would be the black one, as much as God is everything. I'm just talking about now the genius of what we call a black person. When you look at the things that they created, which are being copied right now in movies, the noses are being blown off to not show that it was a thick nose, wide round lips. So it's obvious because of the location where these things are. Now they want to come and be like, no, aliens built these things. You can't just say it, black people. I mean, they the oldest. If you go to certain tribes, the Dogons, they will tell you about them being able to locate Sirius B, which was not visible. And they found out years later, they're like, "Hey man, these people did say this and we didn't believe them because they didn't have the telescopes at the time." But there's many tribes that the connection goes to celestial intelligence. They're like folklore, stories, mythology, all of that is information on how we ourselves are star beings. But we got trapped here. Now I'm going into a whole other conversation. We're still on thoughts, but we got trapped here. So as we became trapped on this particular planet, which was a plan intended for God to find and decode and dream of itself as mankind, as Adam and Eve, the moto, the car, the Merkaba. So you are a celestial, literally, we are because when you even look at melanin, not just the skin color now, the neuromelanin, we are what the stars and the heavens are. The darkness up there manifests itself below as you down here. It's as above, so below. And it doesn't make you more special than anybody, because every human body is special. But now we're just talking about the original people, tribal people. When you watch X-Men, that lady who can shapeshift, that blue lady, I forgot what they call her, that all of that, they're depicting its melanin. What do? They're always studying spinal fluid. Like, these people's genes, they're more advanced. If you watch Get Out, they also speak about that. If you watch Get Out by Jordan Peele, they speak about how this, when they're trying to put the consciousness in the bodies of black people, yeah, all of that, like it's superior in basketball, and it's because of that melanin. Like, black people have style, they can run, they can dance, they're big, or everything, literally. They're the original people. But this doesn't want to be spoken about. But then it's something that doesn't even need to be spoken about, because it's obvious. It's obvious. So now I'm sure you'd be wondering, oh man, if we're so great, why did we become so low? Why did we become so degraded? It's because our thoughts began to densify with our bodies. The denser we became, the more we lost the ability to live thousands of years. Melchizedek, Methuselah, Adam, Noah, all these people who lived those thousands of years, we were able to live that long. Because number one, understand that to study the stars, you would have to live for a very long time. So you would have to reach years like 900 years tracking or just cycles. Imagine, what would you do if you lived 900 years? You would begin to look up at about age 100. You'd be like, oh, I've done everything here possibly physical. I've planted, I've grown, herbs, and then what you gonna do? Boom, turn your eyes to the stars now. Culturally, we were like, what's that? And then we began to track our way back. And by looking at the stars, we found what? Ancient codes that we had left before we came into the flesh, before we came into the body, into this place. Because it wasn't a punishment. All of this, it's a dream. This is a place where imagine you are an infinite spiritual being and you have a dream of being physical, and then you actually dream that into existence. So this is a dream. It's a thought. It's a collective dream, and then it becomes individualized, because all of these are thoughts. It's a dream. It's a states that you tap into. Third density, fourth density, fifth density, states of being. In my Father's house are many mansions. So you exist in these states. So it's these thoughts. Yeah, this conversation of thoughts, it's just going, ooh, it's going way better than I'm gonna just relax even more here, like just. Your chakras are bodies. They are worlds. you can tune into them psychically when you choose to. And you also tune into them via the age as you grow up. When you become 7 years old, you complete your root chakra cycle. When you become 14, you complete your sacral. When you become 21, you complete, it's cycles of 7. So they say that every 7 years, your body completely cycles, like recycles. You have a whole new bunch of cells. And that happens every 7 years. Because every 7 years, a seal opens, literally. Our chakras are all spinning to some degree. They have to spin, or else you wouldn't be here. But they're not spinning the way that they should be. So they are just corrupted because you can't completely switch them off. They just corrupted, caused to spin and like work in different ways that they're not supposed to be. And others are even not, you're not told, or you're not given the ability to see that, this actually exists, because you concentrate so much on the law. So now these are worlds that you activate naturally as you grow up, because the first one deals with survival. That's when you're born, you're a kid. Second one deals with sexuality. That's when you start to become into the stages of understanding your sexuality. I'm a man, that's a woman. Stages of power, willpower, solar plexus. When you're 21, it begins around those age. And then the higher you go in age, your heart begins to open. At 21 up to 28, you're in the heart cycle. So you open them naturally, but you have to also open them mentally to be born again. So they psychic. States of being. So they psychic states of being that you can tap into. So your thoughts vibrate there. What are you thinking? Are you thinking fear, which is the chakra of the root? Are you thinking just sex, which is the second one? Just check out what each of these mean, and then you can understand that, okay, here, this particular one exists for this. Or here, I'm vibrating, here, I'm thinking these thoughts. Am I truthful? Am I insightful? Am I connected? So you tap into thoughts where you are vibrating on your chakra levels. So thoughts are residual, existing in multiple dimensions as you yourself exists in multiple dimensions, differing in density levels. In different densities, your body's heavier here, Earth, and then in other densities, it's lighter, the astral planes, where you can fly and walk through walls. It's because you're dealing with subtle matter. It's still matter. The stuff that makes up dreams is the stuff that makes up this earth. You should check out a movie called Whoa by Robin Williams, or Robbie. Is it Robin or Robbie Williams? The guy from Jumanji, the first Jumanji. But this one is called What Dreams May Come. See what happens when like someone dies. They show like the different astral planes, that you don't really die. You just lose density. You lose this body, and then you tap into a different body. So you are a projection of thoughts in levels of God at different planes. So God is thinking itself to be you, dreaming itself to be you at different levels. The lower it goes, the more the dream feels real. So this one feels real because it's the lowest part of it, where you even forgot that it's a dream. Hence you have this dense body accompanied by the 7 wheels vibrating within yourself that can allow you to remember, when they are all enlightened, that kind of this is a dream and I'm not really this body. So now you are what? You are in the world but not of this world. So you know this world now to be a dream, and then you are liberated from the world of death, the tomb, the womb. Jonah in the whale for 3 days, Jesus in the tomb for 3 days, Joseph, they threw him into the pit. All these guys, all these things that happened to them. The prodigal son who went astray. It's just you being in a state, going into a lower state. And that's described in the form of mythology and stories in different holy books. So thought forms, your body is a thought form, a very dense thought form, projected and concentrated from the mind of the Creator, the mind of the Most High. So when it densifies here, it now thinks thoughts of its own, dreaming of being in, you know that song by Frank Ocean? I love that song. Is it in that song? The markings on your surface. Illy. Sounded cool. What's that song? But he says, dreaming about a thought that could dream of a dream within a dream, dreaming of the thought within the thought. It's a very nice song, and I love that part the most because that's what we are. We are a thought. And mnagano what nagan, unagan ut nagan. Kushukuthi le ngqondo yazicabanga because ibheke so. And for those watching, guys, I'm in South Africa. I'm gonna throw in some Zulu at some point or some Bedi, you know. So, but you're learning. If you don't know this language, you're learning, and you can understand telepathically anyway, because you can speak all languages, subconsciously connected. So, lengqondo. Okay, I sent this. So, uNkulunkulu ingqondo. It's the mind, ingqondo, mastermind. So, uNkulunkulu ingqondo, and le ngqondo icabanga ukuthi ibe neplan, asenze so. Le ngqondo ibe neplan yathi yazini awuthi ngizicabanga while ngizicabanga. So we are a thought of God, thinking about God while God is thinking about itself. So we are God inverted. We are God here, so-called here, because there's really no here or there if it's all one thing. We are happy. Where you going? Who do you tell? You know, when you say you want to go somewhere, but you are everything. You are the location. You are the where are you going? So for us to not experience that part, we forgot ourselves by developing a dense body. And that body now, uNkulunkulu, is using it ukuthi azicabange or aziphuphe. Iphupho leli. But it's real. For us as the body, because you exist guy too. There's the part of you that's temporal here. It's not really temporal, but what we call your ego, the name they call you, whatever your name is, that part is temporary. It's the part in the movie that God is thinking about. And then there is the real you that is thinking. It's like if you write a play of a story, there's the guy writing the story and there's the person in the story. Or when you play a game, there's you playing and then there's the character in the game. So it's two here. You were split. There's a part which is higher. It's transcendental. It's transcended. Ayikho la. That's that part la uqala ukhuluma with your people and you start just knowing things because it exists all in one space. Everything is all in one space, separated only by vibration. You see like how this one is standing still and this one is moving fast. If I were to flip it fast enough, it would become invisible, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. Just like when you watch Lucy and they speed up that car, where she's showing that's what it is. When you speed up something, it could become invisible. So that's just what spirit is vibrating at a high speed. So there's a part of you, the part of your consciousness that is vibrating in the spiritual realms, and then this part of you is vibrating here consciously. So now your consciousness is locked in here. When you sleep, you're gonna vibrate your consciousness there. That's why now you can dream of things that happen in 18 something something, or in places or in years to come, because you're in the spirit realm. And the spirit realm, there's no time and space, because you're in a different realm of thoughts there. In fact, you travel via thought. You think of a place and you are there. So thoughts work differently there. But all of this is thoughts, because don't forget that you are the initial thought. That's what we started this with. You are the thought, the original thought. You are the original scribe. And then you can now access the whole body, which takes a whole bunch of, it takes ascended masters to be able to do things. That's when you can start walking on coal and just not feeling cold and all, because you can control this body on that Lucy thing. It's not those, that's real. Doctor Strange, guys, come on, man. Doctor Strange, that's nothing. You go Doctor Strange every day. When you go to sleep at night, you go Doctor Strange every day. Oh, there it is. Literally. Let me have a pulse. The moment you sleep, you phase in and out of reality, like Doctor Strange when he does this. REM sleep, rapid eye movement. That's what Doctor Strange is doing. There's nothing strange about that. You do that all the time in REM sleep. Rapid eye movement, when your eyes go like, because you are a beam of light projecting information into Earth. See how in Lion King, Mufasa was like to Simba, the stars up there, our ancestors and whatnot, people who have lived. Yeah, when you die, you become a star, or in fact, the stars up there are us. We are those stars beaming themselves here as projectors. We're projecting. We're projecting here, but we're projected here through our natal chart, your planetary placements. So the stars are navigation points of where you come from, or which angles you came in from, or which angels and angels are the same thing. Angles of light, angels of light. Which angles you came down as the monad from, because that densification happens through light, the light of the stars. You condense here, actually. Technically, you, like, it's something that you think of. You think of this place. You gravitate here because you're moving through existence. So you came here through a compass, which is your biological, your natal chart, and that programs or shows what it is that you come here to do, and where you came here from, which constellations, whether you came here directly, whether you came here and you've been here before, went away, came here. So all of that is shown there. So now where you are, you project your light via your certain planets, which are the lights. And then now those lights of the constellations hit your different bodies. It hits your ethereal body, it hits your physical body, and all your other bodies get charged up, and you get information orally on your chakras from the particular light that you come from. So in certain seasons, you may be much more than someone whose prime is in a certain alignment of the planets, because they may be when this planet is in retrograde, somebody might get much more in tune or creative. It's because of the different placements. So now this is why it's important to know your astrology, to know where you have weaknesses and to know where you have strengths. To know this information. This is why God in the book of Job asks Job, he's like, yo, do you know how to tell the stars? He's like, do you know how to tell forth the Mazzaroth? The Mazzaroth is Greek word for zodiac. Literally, you talk about the zodiac sign in the Bible. So he's like, yo, you know how to tell the zodiac, bro? And then God asked him, he's like, you know how to tell the Pleiades and Orion, and do you know how to hold to tame the bear in its season? Those are all constellations. So do you know how to tell the constellations, which are lights? They speak about this in the Bible. It's there. Astrology is weird. No. All of this is in the Bible. There's nothing that's not in the Bible. You are the Bible. You're the first Bible. You're the Word. So the stars are projections of light. And these lights now get received into your chakras. And then you begin to navigate. And then you begin to remember your purpose. And then once your purpose comes in, boom. Because when you come here, it's a plan. Remember, this is a planet. And your reminder is your natal chart. It's your compass. So when you grow up, you begin to navigate. Your plan begins to come together. Because when you become a baby, your memory gets wiped. And then you have to remember it. There's a potential for you to remember yourself. Or you could die ignorant and then you'll be like, oh man, it didn't get it this time. You come back, you reincarnate until you get it. That's what the whole hell cycle is. When you just keep coming back here, not remembering that, oh, I'm the divine. I projected myself here. Oh my word. And then you learn the knowledge of good and evil, and then you go beyond duality. Now you eat the tree of life. Now you begin to ascend back. And it's not if like this you're gonna get somewhere and then it's done, but you begin your journey back to source consciousness. Now you ascend the ladder of lights consciously. So now you're gonna exist in different states. Because this is a school for gods. Earth is a school. You came here ignorantly. You didn't really know what it is to be. So you had to forget it all. And now you're getting it all back. But with a different perception. Or different perspective, rather. So what you are going back to is totally different from how you even got here. Because it's like when you were a kid, you're so oblivious to everything until you're about 3-4 years old, 2 years old. But there's a moment when everything is just happening subconsciously. So the coming down was subconscious. And the ascension back is gonna be conscious. And then boom, those two meet. Eternity, the null zone, 0 point. Everything comes back together. There is no more this or that. There is no more. It's beyond now. It's all existing. We're now here because what happened? We came here and we experienced this. Because, I mean, come on, this is not the idea. That's why in Gnosticism, they speak about this place was created by a bad god. Actually, they call the god in the Bible, like, he's a bad dude, actually. He's not actually, like, a good gent. He's like a bad guy. So, he created mankind to serve him here. They speak of him as Yaldabaoth or Idolabaoth. So, he created mankind to be a slave. But mankind was divine. So he created the body and he trapped humanity here. All of this is mythological stories talking about energies and the journey into matter, the journey into the flesh. So he created this place and he trapped divine sparks, and then he trapped them in a shell or in a body or in hell. They fell. So he trapped these beings in, excuse me, he trapped these beings in a physical place, and then he said, I'm the only God, there are no gods above me. So he's the ego. So the ego basically trapped you here, like, yeah, only I exist, nothing else. So this god Idolabroth, he created this place, and then he trapped divine sparks, and then he used the material from his mother's womb, whom he killed. So his mother's womb would be, so that's why I guess you'd see why society hates the woman so much. It's all mythologically connected. But he used material that he got from his mother. Hope I'm still recording. Oh, I'm still recording. He used material that he got from his mother's womb to create these bodies. That's why this body could trap you so much. This body is created from divine material. It's a divine material. We could say that all of this was a purpose in the Godhead for this to happen, because it's not that there's really a being called this person, and then it's fighting against this person. It's all one being playing a game with itself of reflection. Remember, it's witnessing. So Idolabroth, the Great Mother, Tiamat, all these Zeus, Loki, all these gods, Shango that you hear about them, these different beings, they are aspects. It's not that they aspects, but they exist as what? As thought forms. But so they can come through because we as culturally we've created thought forms that we all project thoughts to at certain times, rituals and whatnot. So at Idolabroth, they say that he created this place using the body, using material from a higher state, and then he said that I'm the only God here, and then he wanted mankind to serve him. But the spark within humanity is actually older than Idolabroth itself. So he trapped divine sparks in this place, and then he governed over them, and then put other gods there. And then he wanted these beings to now serve him as the only God. Hence, I'm a jealous God. But the God of the true God, the source, that being is not even a being. It's beyond descriptions of the flesh. It's unmanifest. It's pure potential intelligence. Everything is it, everything will be it, and everything was it. Family, this is where we're going to stop this episode. Don't forget to like and to subscribe to the channel so that you may get more videos in future. And thank you for tuning in, family. Much love. Let there be light.